Let's take the high road. Let's feel good about how we approach life and people, because it's not what happens to us as much as what happens in us. Bess McCarty from Victoria, Kansas. This is the Ask Bess Show. So, when we react to other people, who do things that we're not proud of, we're really letting other people set the agenda for our lives. And that doesn't feel as good, does it? Mother Teresa has a famous poem attributed to Mother Teresa that brings out something that is very important to me, and that is my own relationship with God and myself. And that if I am kind to another person or not, I affect me even more than anyone else. So here's what Mother Teresa says. You know, we do it for spiritual reasons. So here's what she says. People are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you succeed, you will win some false friends and some true friends. Succeed anyway. If you're honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. If you spend years building, someone could destroy it overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, they may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may not be enough. Give your best anyway. She further says, you see, in the final analysis, it is between you and your God. It was never between you and them anyway. This reminds me a lot of what Dr. Pat Allen, a psychologist, said about marriage. She said, no human is worth giving yourself so much to. You give yourself to the marriage, to the entity of the marriage that you both give to and draw nourishment from. You do it for this reason. Because people don't always deserve our kindness, do they? They're maybe not always kind in return or value it or anything like that. So we do it for how we feel inside, what it means to us, the people that we become because of doing it. That's what I call the high road. So I will go more into this in just a moment. I want to thank you for whoever's coming on. Let's see, it's not really showing, but thank you for joining here. I am Bess McCarty, Victoria, Kansas. This is the Ask Bess Show. It's here every Saturday and Sunday at noon Eastern Time. And this is a show where you can ask questions below from a coach for business and life. It could be about, you could ask questions below. It could be about health, weight loss, network marketing, career, business, jobs, family, communication, any relationships. It could be about spiritual fulfillment, any of that. So you're welcome to ask questions below, leave your tips below. I want to hear and learn from you too. Some people message me privately on Facebook Messenger or elsewhere to ask questions that I can then address and respond to on the show. My main message is, you matter. I hear you. I'll respond. You're bigger than any problem that is before you. Every problem has a solution, and the problem is always within reach. There's many helpers. I'm one of them, and you don't have to do this alone. In fact, you can do it better with the help of other people. I'll share with you in a little bit my Real Conversations method to move from problem to solution in minutes. It's a method that I've evolved over 25 years of working with myself, students, clients, and it works. It's how to uncover the unmet need behind every problem. Once you understand that need and meet it, then you can, the problem literally disappears. It's that simple. It's just knowing our feelings and needs and responding to those, loving ourselves enough to respond to those. So, Facebook is not quite showing me. Is anyone on here? Please leave a comment. Maybe then it will show. But you know what I'm going to do is invite some friends here. and welcome you to do the same thing. If you know someone who can use some personal growth this morning, or who having a hard time reacting. Because remember, when we react to people, we're letting someone else set the agenda for our lives. And there's plenty of lessons to learn right now in life about this with all the current events, isn't there? So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, because maybe that makes life a little bit easier. And that's why I come on here. If you're watching the replay, please type in replay, because I would like to thank you for watching. And also, I'd like to hear where you're watching from and what's the weather like there. I'm in the middle of Kansas, and it's almost 100 degrees this week. But I've been watering my marigolds coming up, and other flowers, and some tomatoes, cantaloupe, blackberries, scallions, mint. So it's fun to see things grow, fun to give them water, which is like giving something our attention, giving a friendship, a relationship our attention, and see it bloom. And we can feed it, it can feed us, and we're happier than not growing things. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about relationships, how to take the high road rather than react and give somebody back to them what they gave to us, right? Because we're justified. Now, who am I to be doing all this? I am a coach for business and life, and a counselor and body-mind therapist and holistic health practitioner for over 30 years. And I've helped lots of people have better lives, overcome fears, negative beliefs, and be all that they can be, solve problems, improve relationships, careers, and health, and even spiritual relationships with God, to find or improve that. I love doing this because I grow myself. I do my own personal growth work, and I love helping other people to do that too. That's what I get up for. And these are my best moments, when I work with somebody and that magic happens, that something that's bigger than us is working and transforms that moment for that person. And I can't help be transformed as well. So I dearly, dearly love this work. I teach privately, or coach privately, as well as in classes. So you can find that out on my site, bessmccarty.com. Love to have you explore it. Got a new site coming out in a couple weeks. Brand new site, more modern, easy to read. And I invite you to share with friends, tag them, share in other Facebook groups that are interested in personal growth. And welcome, Kinley. Good to see you. Oh, yes, great. And thanks, Deborah. Deborah and Kimley are in my School for Network Marketers, our School for Network Marketers, the MLM Millionaire Academy. So love to see you. It's all personal growth, really, isn't it? Network marketing is really personal growth disguised as a business. So back to the topic today. Let's take the high road. I just read you Mother Teresa's poem, which I dearly love, and she says, the world's not going to be fair to you. You know, you give them your love, and they retaliate back with anger or hatred or other things. So it's not going to be fair. It's not going to be fair. You build, they tear it down. You give love, they mistrust you. They're self-centered. You forgive them, and they might do it again. You succeed, and they're jealous. You're honest. People may cheat you. You spend years building, they tear it down. Build anyway. Do this anyway. Why? Because of how I feel by giving and building and forgiving and doing and loving. And I actually do it for God, whatever word you might use or look to. I do this for my relationship with God, number one. And the person is simply my means to give God's love to, and to build my relationship with God. But I'm really doing it for God, for that person, but ultimately it's for my own spiritual growth and relationship and who I become on the way of doing that. So that's my goal, is to get my little self, my ego, out of the way and learn to respond to everything with kindness and love. And they say there's 3 rules, right? Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind before I speak? The kind that for me is often the hardest, rather than be a sharp or critical or impatient tone or something like that. But I'm working on that. So why am I doing that? Because I sleep better at night, because I'm healthier for it. I think it affects everything. It affects my health, my well-being, my happiness. I'm better if I do these things. And of course, the other person gets the benefit too of being around a kind person or a loving person, one that can make room for faults, one that can overlook their faults, because guess what? I have them too. And in fact, I would like to read you some tips from John Maxwell from this book, Winning with People. There is some tips in here about people who take the high road, so I'd like to share that with you as well. And welcome, Mr. Jim Bailey. He is from Colorado, absolutely, and welcome me. Hi, good to see you guys. Glad to be here. Glad to sit with some of the best people on Facebook are right here. Jim Bailey is another star student in the MLM Millionaire Academy Generic School for Network Marketers, and he's working on his 7th level right now of certification for that. So very proud of you, Jim. And he's also an inspiration for me for his constantness. And we're going to talk about that. John Maxwell mentions that too. So John says, if you react to people, you're letting them set the agenda for your life. Is that what you really want? You know, somebody hurts you and you retaliate and hurt them back. Is that what you really want? Yes, we have to set boundaries. Yes, we have to make change. And yes, we need to not put up with things, not be a doormat, not let injustice go on. But is the reaction fitting? Is it going to get results? Or is it just a backlash, just a reaction instead of an action? We want to be cause in our life and not be the effect, right? So these are some tips from John Maxwell. People who take the high road, they understand that it's not what happens to you, but what happens in you, and that is a choice. A successful man is one who can lay a firm foundation with the bricks others have thrown at him. Like that? John says, high roaders commit themselves to traveling the road continually. Anyone can do it can be kind in the face of unkindness once in a while, but it's more difficult to sustain a high road attitude all the time. But when we do that, it starts creating momentum, and it becomes easier. John also says that high roaders see their own need for grace, therefore extend it to others. So this helps us a lot if we can remember, hey, I've got my quirks, my faults, and I want other people to make room for them. I want other people to tolerate or overlook them, right? That helps me to do the same for other people. It's said that usually we make a big deal out of other people's faults, but we minimize our own. We go, oh, that doesn't matter as much as that person's, right? Or my faults, they're so small, they should be overlooked. Nobody should make a point of them. But other people now, they should change, right? So we tend to minimize our own, but we're all human and make mistakes. And when we recognize our humanness, we know that we need that grace, and we want to then we want to extend it. And he says high roaders are not victims; they choose to serve others. He tells the story of a lady on her wedding day. She said, "I decided to make a list of my 10 of my husband's faults that for the sake of our marriage I would overlook." And somebody said, well, what was on the list? And she said, actually I never got around to making it. But lucky for him that every time he did something that would just steam her up, she'd say, lucky for him, that's on my list. So I think that's a good test. He says high roaders set higher standards for themselves than others would. We care more than others think is wise. We risk more than others think is safe. We dream more than others think is practical. We expect more than others think is possible. And we work more than others think is necessary. When you've done all you can do, then criticism just rolls off your back. Because I found that criticism a lot of times will get me when I'm already telling myself the same thing. So it sort of sticks a knife in and twists it in my gut if I'm already telling myself the same thing. But if I feel good about myself, I've done my best, I've done all I can, and I've done it in accord with my values and my integrity, then somebody criticizes me and I just go, oh, that's their opinion, or maybe they're speaking about themselves right now. But I know different for me. But if I'm already telling myself that thing, or if it really is true about me, it might get me. And if something really gets me, I want to take a look and say, well, is there any truth to that? Am I this way, or am I am I already down on myself? I'm telling myself I'm no good, or I can't do something. Somebody tells me I can't do something. It doesn't really faze me because I already know I can do anything I want. But if I was telling myself I couldn't, then if they tell me that I couldn't, then I might start doubting more. But it's because I've already have that seed of that fear already in me. So let me look at that. Let me take that out. And if something does bug me or get to me, that's when I do real conversations on it. That's the process that I wanted to share with you. It's a 4-step process where if you're having, if you're stuck, feel stuck in life, and you're telling yourself, well, I can't do this, I'll never be able to do this, the feeling might be discouragement, and the need might be self-validation. To remember, and I might meet that need by remembering when I have succeeded in things, when I have done things that people told me I couldn't, when I have done the quote impossible. So I might look and see and remember how that is who I really am, not my negative talk. See, that was real conversations. We look at the situation, the emotion, the need, and then meet that need in a healthy way. I'm going to post some free tools, but if you would like the free tools, they're worth $250 by making them free for people right now, and that is at bessmccarty.com/real for real conversations. bessmccarty.com/real. And you can find these, use these, print out the chart of needs. It's real simple to use, and it can get you unstuck just in minutes. It can solve any problem in minutes. The solution, the need is always physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And I list all those needs. So it makes it easy to do, to self-coach yourself. And Deborah says she's from Atlanta. Welcome. And Mihai, the sense of I am. And Mihai has a lot to share here, which I'll let you guys read in the comments. And he always brings in these real powerful spiritual thoughts here. Let's see what we have. So he's shared a lot with us here, which I'll let you try to get to the bottom. And okay. So John says also, the high road is not the easiest one, but it's the only one that leads to the highest level of living. So hope you enjoyed those tips. John Maxwell, Winning with People, as well as Mother Teresa's poem, Do It Anyway. I thought were very good tips. Some more tips that I have are, my friend the other day said that during this pandemic she's found herself stressful, and I found the same thing. I seem to be a little short on patience, like when I'm talking with someone that's dear to me, that I may be just a little bit stressed, maybe not sleeping my best with everything that's going on, maybe wondering what's happening. So I'm not at my best, and I found myself being short the other day too, and so was she with her daughter and her husband. And so what she says she learned to do was that when something was about to come out of her mouth that was not kind, she said she just zipped her mouth. She learned to just be quiet. The trick is to catch it before it pops out, right? But I like that. That's a tip of how to take the high road. Another tip that I like, a body-mind tip, is to breathe. Because it said we cannot be stressed and breathe deeply at the same time. And when we feel stressed, we take, if you take 10 deep breaths, try it. If you feel, imagine yourself now, imagine a negative feeling or emotion that you might have. And then take a couple of deep breaths right now, all the way down to your tummy and your chest, all the way down to your tummy. And just breathe in. And if you do this several times, up to 3 to 10 times, deep breaths, you'll notice your emotional state. You'll notice that it's changed, it's shifted. So that's a body-mind technique. Science says you cannot be stressed and breathe deeply at the same time. So especially when you breathe all the way down and take a good deep breath, not just a shallow one up here in the chest, but breathe all the way down into your tummy. and it can change your state. Another way to get stress out, if you feel like you can't take the high road, journal. Journal your feelings out, talk them out with a trusted friend. Say, hey, can I vent? Can I talk these feelings out? Another way is to run it off. Take a big brisk walk, or run, or hit a punching bag, or hit a pillow, something like that to get it out of you. Or some people call me as a coach and counselor and talk it out to where they can bounce it off another person, a trained person, and get that clarity. So those are all the ways that you can help yourself to take the high road. Another body-mind tip is to do Tai Chi, because it's very grounded and focused and efficient, and it always balances me. There's something in the Chinese called Sung, S-U-N-G, and that means vitalized relaxation. And that is that perfect middle road there, that it's neither hyper energy nor is it lethargic, but it's somewhere in between that's beautiful. It's called vitalized relaxation. And that is when we feel good, and that's where health is. Mental health, emotional health, and physical health. So a final tip that I'd like to leave is be careful that our desire to serve mankind is not making it okay in our mind to push other people what we think is God's will and design. We might feel strongly, I'm doing this for God, I'm doing this for God's will, I'm doing it for their own good, I'm doing it because it's true and right, and I need to wake people up, and people need to hear this and know this. Do they really? Or is this really for me to follow and maybe be a role model and example? Do I really want to or think that I can change other people? I can help other people, but only the ones that are open, willing, and ready. Other than that, people are usually just going to fight back. So let us be careful that we say, oh, I'm doing this for mankind, when we might be really doing it because we're attached to our own opinion and having our way done, or we are slipping into the power trip of life rather than the love trip. So social, health, and political issues can captivate us away from God and away from our own inner guidance. So things to consider, and welcome Antoinette Robinson. Welcome. Glad to see you. So what do you guys think of this? Who has a thought? Who has a takeaway from this? I'd love to hear it below. Who has a question? Who has a tip? Love to hear your thoughts about what I've just shared. And if you would like to take the high road, please type in yes, because then I know we're locking arms and we're learning and doing this together. Please type yes if you plan to take the high road or strive to take the high road in your life, which to me is being kind, doing what Mother Teresa said, doing it for God, doing it for your relationship, doing it for your the love of giving, doing it for love, I'll say. If you, that's how I'll define the high road, doing it with love instead of power. So if you're a high roader, please type yes, even if you're not perfect at it yet, because I want to acknowledge you for that. And welcome, Nancy Siegel. How are you doing? Nancy and I are grandmas together. We talk about that, and Antoinette says, Nancy says yes. Antoinette says thank you. Deborah says yes. Awesome. So I did share more earlier, Mother Teresa, John Maxwell, and some of my own experiences and tips. Hope this helps today. Please, I'd love to welcome you back every Saturday and Sunday to the Ask Bess show at noon Eastern time here, Facebook Live. And you can also find this all on my YouTube channels. My friend Mika Coleman is making some real pretty colors on there, so it should be more fun to use and see, and maybe there's some topics from the last couple of years that might strike you today. If you're going through something, you might just open up the Bess McCarty YouTube channel, Bess McCarty, and scroll down, and maybe you'll see a topic that jumps out at you that maybe you needed today. That's why they're up there. There's over 300 topics there that maybe one will be a help for what you need today. So that's your sort of like your catalog, my gift. And Kimberly says, thank you for your thoughts. My input is You have to be a bigger person and do not always expect others to make the first move or show kindness. Yeah, why not? Why not? We started. Good one. Good one, Kimley. Like that. And we are new grandmas, Nancy says. Yeah. Nothing better, huh? Huh, Nancy? Pretty special. And welcome, Alexis. How are you? How are you, honey? Glad to see ya. Alexis is a mother and a massage cosmetologist, and at Rockhaven Spa in Hayes, Kansas. So glad to see everybody here. We'll see you next time for the Ask Bess show. Remember, you can get the free tools at bessmccarty.com/real. And you can look on YouTube, Bess McCarty, and see replays for this and a whole bunch of other shows. Hope you enjoy them. And thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.